where you're creating life on your terms, where you're doing things that you want to do, because now it's no longer just an emotion or a feeling. You're actually putting action toward everything that you do. So how do you do that? How do you put action toward intention? Guys, one thing I learned is you have to have a game plan, right? What is your game plan, okay, to move your life forward? What is your game plan, right? And see, now, I'm not just talking about tactics, right? I'm not just talking about the steps you need to take, right? I'm talking about, let's start off with your overall strategy. You need to have it written down. What kind of life would you like to live? And I am not talking about the life that you see on Instagram or the life that you see on Facebook. I'm talking about what type of life would you like to live, right? What type of relationships would you like to have, you know, with your significant other or your parents or your children, you know, your siblings? What kind of relationships would you like to have, right? That's one. The second thing is, how would you like your health to be, right? Would you like to be healthy? Would you like to be able to walk a mile and not be out of breath? Walk a couple of flights of steps and not be out of breath? Be outside and enjoy the environment, right? Without not feeling 100%, right? Because you're worried about all different type of ailments and different feelings and you know, things that you haven't addressed medically, right? How would you like to feel? So all of those are important, right? Because you got to have a plan for that as well, right? And last but not least is, how about your finances, your wealth, your money, right? What are you doing, guys? What are you doing, okay? And how do you plan to achieve the wealth that you want, right? Not just money you making at a job. I'm talking about wealth, right? Wealth in health, wealth in relationship, and wealth in your finances. It's a whole big picture, guys, that you need to put together. But where's your money coming from? Are you going to be tied to a job? Are you going to be tied to a person, right? Who determines how much money you make each day, right? Are you going to have that ceiling that caps you at the amount of money that you're going to make, and now you can't get any further? Which one is it, guys? You have to figure that out. And when you begin to figure that out, you need to write it down on paper, right? And what I noticed is, and a lot of people get this, it's called the overwhelm, right? The overwhelm is, you know what you want, right? You know what you want. You've written it all down. And guess what? Now that you see it on paper, you get overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed because you do not know the actions to take to reach that goal. So what do, right? What do? You gotta stop thinking about the action to reach that goal and think about who do you know or can get to know who has reached that goal. When I began that process, my overwhelm changed. And my mentor helped me to create something called my Dream 100, right? My Dream 100. It is 100 people, right, in my circle of influence, whether it's social media, whatever it is, who I want to aspire to be like, or who I want to work with, right, or who I want to learn from. And so that is how it goes. This is what it means when you begin to shape and mold your life on your terms. It is your circle of influence that makes that happen for you, right? Your environment is your destiny, and your circle of influence is definitely your environment. It is going to shape and mold your life. So stop thinking about the steps that you need to take, being all overwhelmed and afraid of how you're going to get there, and start making a list, right, of who you need to be with, who you need to communicate with, who you need to get around in order to start to make changes in your life, right? Those changes come with the price of you and social media. Let's talk about that. You and social media. Stop being a consumer. Stop being a consumer of mental candy, of mental junk food, as my mentor used to say. That mental junk food, all it does is it clouds your mind with false expectations of people who are not living the life that they're promoting on Instagram, on Facebook, man, on a lot of the social media platforms. They're not living that life, right? What they're doing is they're not showing you the steps. They're showing you, hey, look at me for 5 minutes and check this out, right? I'm driving this nice car. Look at me in this fantastic place, and check me out for 5 minutes. You know, see this post, see this picture, see these smiles, right? And what I'm trying to tell you guys is that is not what's going to get you there. That is not what's going to move you forward. All that's going to create in your life is overwhelm, right? You are going to begin to be overwhelmed because they're not showing you the steps to get there. They're not even showing you the strategy to get there. So if they're not showing you the strategy on how to get what they achieve, if they're not showing you the step-by-step tactics on how to get what you achieve, and they're not giving you, okay, what you truly need, which is the truth about change, then guys, you're just a consumer. You're just a consumer of their content, and it's just junk food to your mind. And all it's going to do is corrupt you, stop you, slow you down from creating the life that you want. And you don't need that, right? Success needs speed, fast, possible, each step along the way. And I don't mean fast as in you achieve what you want quickly. No, success is a journey. It is a long, long marathon, way, way out the way, man, where it is not about the specific goal that you're going to achieve, right? It is about who you become to achieve that goal, right? And you will soon find out, as I did myself, right? The closer you get to your goal, right? The more you change as a person. The more you change as a person, right? The more you change as a person, the different goals that you now have that you didn't have before. One thing I learned is you don't know how much you don't know until you reach that moment of the person who realizes you don't know too much of nothing, right? You know a bunch of information, but you're not at a level of where you see over the fence, right? The next level of, let me go into law enforcement, right? When I was an officer, I really didn't understand the job of a sergeant. I didn't understand it, right? And so I would bitch and moan and complain about things that the sergeant said, or the things that the sergeant said we needed to do at my level, because I didn't understand his level. So, you know, I'm worried about him not being able to understand where I'm coming from as an officer. And then when I became a sergeant, that was my aha moment. It was, oh my God, I didn't realize this level of responsibility existed, right? And so I began to shape and mold and change my life and get around people who were a whole lot more efficient, people who were really getting things done, and people who weren't trying to fall back on the old mindset of what I had when I was an officer. And when I did that, I no longer questioned the next level of supervision or the next level above that of how they achieved what they achieved or how they were going to make decisions based on my rank. What I began to do is I began to say, okay, they made this decision. Why did they make this decision, right? Why did they choose to have me to do this for this officer or do that for this officer or do this assignment or do that assignment? I started to think logically on why they told me to do it and try to put myself in their shoes. And when I began to do that, it began to create growth in my mind and help me to learn more and move faster and respond quicker to responsibilities that they had set out for me. See, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't want to put themselves in the shoes of their boss because, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to try to think of what your boss intentions are for you on the job. His intentions are for the company. His intentions are for the mission, the big picture. A lot of people don't want to put themselves in that shoes. And I'm telling you guys that you need to begin to do this. You need to begin to grow, okay, to the point of where when you walk into the job, you know why you got out of bed that day and you know why you're doing what you're doing at the level that you're doing it. Okay, and